Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest titles in all of sports is heavyweight champion of the world. I say one of the greatest because the most coveted title is to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
And the head of boxing, Adam Smith at Sky Sports, for questions for the camps.
Thanks, Eddie. I want to extend our thanks to both camps for their utter professionalism all the way through in training camp. We've had some terrific access, so thank you both Team Parker and Team Joshua. I'm going to start with Team Parker and the man that's been pretty animated throughout the build-up. He's wanted this fight, he's got it, and he believes he's got the man to create history on Saturday night. That is, of course, promoter David Higgins. David, why do you believe your man has the advantages going in, and do you believe that you've got under Anthony Joshua's skin?
First, I would like to thank Anthony Joshua for being punctual today. We appreciate it. Second, I'd like to let Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua know that I won't be taking any bait from them. Eddie is definitely the second best promoter in the world, but him and I, our job is done. It's not about you, Eddie, and it's not about me. So I'm going to say very little today. In fact, I'm going to let Joseph Parker do most of the talking today, and I challenge Eddie Hearn to allow Anthony Joshua to speak for himself and not shield him, and let him speak freely. And if Eddie comes at me trying to bait me, I'll get off the stage and I'll challenge him to do the same.
David, I do want to ask you one thing before we move to Joseph and Kevin. And that is that you say that Anthony Joshua's been different in the build-up, that he's not sleeping as well. Can you clarify that?
Oh, look, I think if you read his comments, they speak for themselves.
I don't know, but if your leg doesn't stop shaking, I'm going to have to move.
Stop talking, Eddie. We can smell the silver spoon on your breath.
There's only one thing I can smell on your breath, and that's last night's activities.
I'm at my best.
Okay.
Kevin Barry has been with Joseph Parker for a long time. I know Joseph's parents are over here, but he's, I guess, almost like an uncle or a second dad. Let's bring Kevin in, a terrific promoter, a trainer rather. We remember him with David Tua, and a great fighter as well back in the day. Kevin, how's the camp gone in Las Vegas? Could it have got any better for your man?
Adam, I think we've had probably the best training camp, and I know trainers say that all the time, but over the last 2 years we've had a really rough time with problems with Joe's elbows, and I think it's shown in his performances. We've had a couple of surgeries just prior to Christmas last year, and this camp that we've just had, 11 weeks in Las Vegas and some tapering off over here, have been the most enjoyable time that Joe and I have spent together in the 5 years that we've had. And, for a fight of this magnitude, it was the right time for everything to click. As a trainer, I could not be more confident. I could not be more happy with the preparations of my fighter.
Have you seen enough weaknesses in Anthony Joshua's makeup over the last 2 or 3 years to make you believe that Joseph Parker can defy the bookies and take these glamorous belts home to New Zealand?
Well, look, I tell you what, I'm not talking about weaknesses. We're talking about two very skillful guys. Two guys who are young, two guys who are at the top of their game. And usually when you have two champions, undefeated, very skillful, in the ring together, it'll come down to who can execute the game plan the best on the night. And that's the guy that usually wins. I've said all along over the last 3 years that I believed out of all the heavyweight champions that Joseph Parker has the best skill. I believe he can do more. I believe he has faster hands. And I think on Saturday night we'll find out whether I'm dreaming or whether I've been telling the right thing all the way along.
And one thing you and I have talked about, Kevin, is of course a question that is on a lot of people's minds. How do you feel that Joseph will cope with the 80,000 at the Principality and being on this enormous stage, which is of course something that Anthony Joshua is very used to now?
Well, the whole thing with this particular camp and the lead up to this fight and us arriving here in London, departing for Cardiff today, was we decided right from the get-go that we were not going to let the occasion beat us. One of the huge strengths of Joseph Parker has always been the way he controls his emotions. And I've said on several occasions, whether it's 800, 8,000 or 80,000, it'll be the same Joseph Parker smiling all the way to the ring, the same guy preparing in the dressing room. Joseph has wanted this challenge for so long. He has wanted an opportunity to prove that he is the best heavyweight in the world.
He gets the opportunity. Does he beat Anthony Joshua in your heart of hearts?
Well, obviously, we believe that he beats Joshua or we wouldn't be here.
Joseph, straight to you. You're looking sleek and sharp and very relaxed and happy. There's been a big smile on your face since you've landed in the UK. Everything in your mind has gone according to plan?
Well, firstly, it's great to be here. We've had a great build-up to this mega fight. We've had a tremendous camp. We've had some great sparring sessions. Had a lot of pain, but we enjoyed it. We loved it. We embraced it. I'm looking forward to putting on the best display on March 31. I'm looking forward to putting on the best Joseph Parker there is. I feel ready. I feel confident. I feel sharp. My movement is better than ever. Now I'm taking those belts back to New Zealand and Samoa.
You've been watching Anthony Joshua for a long time, studying him, the strengths, the weaknesses. How do you assess him as a fighter?
I see him as a great champion. The reason why we wanted this fight is because we respect him. We respect what he's achieved in the boxing world. We respect his team and what they've been able to achieve on this side of the world. And we love challenges. And we see him as a big challenge, which is the reason why we want to fight him. And I think, we both have weaknesses, we both have strengths, and it's whoever's going to put on the best display on fight night.
You got the whole of Samoa and New Zealand behind you, but why do you believe you're going to be victorious? What's different about you than all the other opponents that Joshua has faced?
I feel it's my time. I'm young, I'm fast, I'm strong, and I'm determined to win. I'm not here to put on a show or for payday. I'm here to take those belts back. I'm here to be part of history, and I'm not doing it just for myself. I'm doing it for my team, my family, and my country.
And you feel this opportunity has come at the perfect time for you?
The best time. He's at his best. I'm at my best. There's going to be no excuses after this. Whoever wins is the best man on the day.
And you'll lap up the big stage and the thousands cheering AJ on?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people cheering us on. I have a lot of family members out here, a lot of supporters. So, we're going to be hearing them cheer for us on fight night.
Will you knock out Anthony Joshua?
I'm going to beat him. I haven't decided how I want to beat him yet. I don't know if it's a knockout or if it's points or decision. I'll see how I feel on fight night.
But you're going to be undefeated and going home with all the belts in front of us today.
100%. These are mine.
These are mine. Let's bring in Anthony's trainer, the excellent Robert McCracken, of course, who has guided him. He's worked out the tactics. We were here, as Eddie was saying, a year ago, and he had to get through a very tough challenge in Vladimir Klitschko. Then it was Carlos Takam. What's different, Rob, about Joseph Parker?
Different opponent, obviously. Unbeaten opponent, so he doesn't believe he can lose. But, being fast and being calm and relaxed and all of that you need going into a big fight, it doesn't prepare you for getting into a ring with Anthony Joshua. It really doesn't. And, not just the size of him, he's very imposing in the ring, but, he hits you and you don't know why you're getting hit. And I think you've seen that in all of his contests up to date. Klitschko, obviously, at the highest level. But you saw how he started and he finished, had a blip in the middle. That was something to do with getting it with some really solid shots from a devastating puncher. But Anthony's in great shape. He's looking forward to the fight. And he just sees it as another fight on the ladder to trying to become the undisputed champion. And that's the reason why the fight's taking place. Parker's the WBO champion. He's a good fighter. He's unbeaten. And he's a challenge, and AJ's up for it.
Do you see Anthony as a much improved fighter since April last year and the epic battle with Klitschko?
I think it's common knowledge. I thought it was 3 fights too early. Klitschko, he was usually experienced and a massive puncher. But, you know, I thought if Anthony didn't make too many mistakes, he could win the fight. And, you know, his desire to win carried him through the middle part. So, you know, he ticks all the boxes, really. He can box, he can fight. He can, you know, he's a devastating puncher himself, and he can take a devastating shot. So he's improving all of the time. He's learning all of the time. But you know, he's already the unified champion. He's already an Olympic gold medalist, and you know, it's part of a journey that he sees himself becoming the undisputed champion.
I know that's his goal, his aim. I asked Joseph about his sleekness, his lightness ahead of this fight. Anthony's obviously going to come in later as well. What's been different about this camp, about the way it's gone over the last few weeks in Sheffield?
I think he's eating a little bit less, and I think he's sleeping better. The pull-out by Pulev, a legitimate pull-out at 9 or 10 days before, was difficult in the last fight in Cardiff, but motivationally as well for him. So he probably sat around an hour or two longer than he normally would on the week of the fight. But you know, he's a fighter that learns all the time. He's addressed that. He's worked well with the nutritionist. His sleeping's great. His training's great. And you know, Kevin Barry's already said, all coaches say that. Well, he's in great shape. He's had a smile on his face the whole camp, and he's looking forward to the challenge. Parker's a good fighter, and he's respected him by preparing diligently for 12 rounds in Sheffield. And you know, you'll see AJ on Saturday night performing at his very best.
Joseph Parker unbeaten in 24. Rob, in your opinion, is this Anthony's toughest test to date?
I think Klitschko's his toughest test to date, without a shadow of a doubt. 56 or something knockouts, massively motivated for the Josh fight. I think that's his biggest test, but I think, you know, this is the next biggest test, and it's a hurdle Anthony's got to get over. He's prepared for it. Parker's a good fighter, solid credentials, but it's a fight that Anthony's prepared for and he's certainly ready for.
We all know that the road is to ultimate unification. The likes of Deontay Wilder, maybe even Tyson Fury and others lie ahead. What sort of a statement, Rob, do you believe Anthony will make on Saturday with a huge global audience, of course?
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about a boxing match is until the bell goes, nobody knows how it's going to unfold, what's going to happen. But he'll put on a performance, he'll deliver like he always does. You know, there'll be a huge crowd there. They show up to watch AJ fight because you know he delivers every time. It's not always the case with fighters. You know, they tell you they're in great shape and they're going to put on a great performance, and it doesn't happen. We've seen that in the past with Parker. You know, we haven't seen that with AJ. AJ backs up his talk. He delivers what he said he's going to do, and he'll deliver again on Saturday night.
Thanks, Rob. Anthony, there's another huge crowd here, like there was a year ago before your fight with Vladimir Klitschko took you to another level. Do you feel on that another level now, and that there's added pressure each and every time you step into the ring?
Thank you for everyone who came out today. I much appreciate it. And no, I really do. We was here 11 months ago, as you said, with Vladimir Klitschko. Unbelievable experience. And I really highly respect Klitschko in his retirement. And he put up a great performance. Every fight's been a learning fight, and every camp has been a learning camp as well. So in terms of what I learned from the Vladimir Klitschko fight is I shouldn't use training camp to get fit. I approached training camp in good condition, and I took everything I didn't know then and I know now into this training camp, and I've used this training camp to work solely on my technique and my ability rather than using it to get fit and prepare for 12 rounds.
Of course, you've appeared at the Principality before. Late change, 10 days notice. In came Carlos Takam. How difficult was that? And how would you grade that performance and maybe what you need to do on Saturday after it?
Big respect to Carlos Takam. He's a good competitor. You know, he was preparing for a fight a week after I fought at Principality Stadium. So he was fit, he was game. So Pulev is around, let's say, 6 foot something, and then Takam's around 5 foot, or let's say around 6 foot. So someone who was a lot shorter, but my trainer, Robert McCracken, has prepared me from day one for like 12 round fights and long range fighting and inside fighting. So when it came to boxing Carlos Takam, I thought it's fine. Even though he's shorter than me, I'll meet him with uppercuts, left hooks and so on. And yeah, you can see Carlos is in great shape when I boxed him, and I wanted to control Takam from round 1 to whatever round it went to, because I knew that there was going to be a big 2018 on the horizon, providing I just took my time and didn't make any mistakes. So that's how I approached that fight, and that's why we're here now.
I asked Joseph whether he thought the timing was right for this one. Do you believe this for you against Joseph Parker in this unification has come at exactly the right time in your career?
I don't know. I feel like every fight's a blessing, you know, whether it's Joseph Parker sitting here or X sitting here. I feel like every fight's a blessing, and every fight will have reason in the long run. Do you know where I'm coming from? So, yeah, it's Parker. That's the reality of things, and it's a blessing. He's a champion. He's done well for himself, and he's someone who will add something to my life journey. You know what I mean? So, I'm looking forward to Saturday, and it will all be over Sunday, and I'll look back and learn from it and move forward.
What dangers does Joseph Parker bring to the ring? What do you see that he does differently to the 20 opponents before?
Okay, I could say the simple thing is he's got 2 arms, you know, and so on and so forth. But in terms of his attributes, as everyone says, he's quick and he can take a punch. But that's what I've heard, and I'm going to repeat what people have been saying. But yeah, he's quick and he can take a punch.
Have you trained differently? You are going to come in a bit later, I think. Maybe
when we said that last time, I came in my career heaviest. But you know what it is? Your weight has to determine who you fight. There's no, weight category for heavyweights. So if I'm fighting someone a lot taller, a lot bigger, maybe I might come in lighter so I can move a lot more. If I'm fighting someone who's shorter, more stocky, I might come in a bit heavier so I can sit on their chest. So I don't know what my weight will be, because it's a blessing being a heavyweight. I haven't got to worry about that. But I do know for sure that I feel great, and not only physically, a long time. Well, let's say I've been boxing amateur and professional for 10 years now altogether. So a long time I had to rely on, my strengths, my physicalities, and so on and so forth. But over the 10 years, I've built, a lot of mental strength as well. And now I'm combining the two. I feel confident, and I really do look forward to the challenge.
The blue ribbon heavyweight division has never been more exciting. We saw Dillian White on Saturday. Of course, there's Deontay Wilder out there, Tyson Fury talking almost every single day. Is there any danger of looking past Joseph Parker to what lies ahead, or is it just literally, as you always say, a fight at a time?
Oh, 1,000%, one fight at a time. A lot of talk has been happening as if, AJ, Deontay or whatnot. And I'm like, people need to be realistic. I'm looking at Joseph Parker, who's a lively challenger, champion for a reason. Let's say we can look in a crystal ball, and God willing, I've added a lot of prayers to this camp, and I do become victorious. Then we can start talking about future plans. But for now, my future stops on Saturday, and that's where I've got to look to, and not really beyond that moment.
Is there ever a fear, a worry of losing?
Yeah, definitely, because it keeps me going. I don't want to lose because, it's little things like people thought that I walked out on the New Zealand, press people? But that wasn't the case as such. It was because I was there from 10:30 in the morning till 5, and I had to be back in the gym at 6:30 to train, and I hadn't eaten. So it wouldn't have mattered if it was the African press, the Chinese press, or the Russian or New Zealand press. It was just that I told my PR team, can I make a move now, because I've got to be back in an hour and a half, and do they mind waiting, and then when I return and I get ready, we can conduct the interview. But they didn't want to wait, so I said, look, with all due respect, I have to focus on my training. So the fear of losing is that unless I take care of my business, no one's going to want to interview me anyway. So I have to make sure I stay focused on the job at task, and that's the fear of losing, because it keeps me motivated, and I just know how the tables can turn quickly. 1 minute you're the man, and the next minute you're not.
I think there's respect and professionalism from both sides. Final question, Anthony, do you knock Joseph Parker out on Saturday night and take this WBO title in the journey towards unification fully?
So you've got two sides of it. I'm definitely preparing for a 12-round fight, 110%, which isn't a problem to go the distance. But let's say I got 20 quid in my pocket, and I'm looking at Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua. I believe Anthony Joshua, myself, will knock Joseph Parker out for sure.
Thank you, Anthony.
There we go, Joe.